Hello, future medical professionals. Welcome to an exciting journey into the microscopic world of the cell. Today, we are diving deep into cell cycle and cell division, specifically focusing on the fascinating process called meiosis. This chapter is fundamental for understanding genetics and reproduction, and it's a high-yield topic for your NEET exam. We'll explore meiosis across 4 levels of depth: easy, medium, hard, and hardest, ensuring you master every concept. Let's begin. Ready to unravel the basics of how life passes on traits? Let's start with the easy level and understand the fundamental role of meiosis. Imagine you're building a new human. You need half the instructions from one parent and half from the other. That's exactly what meiosis does. It's a special type of cell division that creates gametes, your sperm and egg cells. Unlike regular cell division, meiosis is all about preparing for reproduction, ensuring the next generation gets a balanced set of genetic instructions. It's like a genetic mixing and matching process. The core purpose of meiosis is twofold. First, to cut the number of chromosomes in half. This means a cell with 2 sets of chromosomes, called diploid, becomes a cell with 1 set, called haploid. Why? So that when a sperm and egg combine, the correct chromosome number for the species is restored. Second, meiosis shuffles genetic information, making each gamete unique. It accomplishes this through 2 main divisions: meiosis I, which is the reductional step, and meiosis II, which is more like a regular cell division but for haploid cells. The end result? 4 unique haploid cells, ready for their role in creating new life. Time to test your understanding of the basics. Here are 3 practice questions. Q1. What is the primary purpose of meiosis? Q2. How many rounds of division occur in meiosis? Q3. If a parent cell has 6 chromosomes, how many chromosomes will each daughter cell have after meiosis? Now that you've grasped the fundamentals, let's peel back another layer and delve into the specific stages of meiosis. Get ready for more detail. Meiosis is a meticulously orchestrated 2-step process. Think of it as a grand genetic ballet, ensuring precision in genetic transmission. First, we have meiosis I, often called the reductional division. This is where homologous chromosomes, those pairs of chromosomes you inherit one from each parent, separate. This division is critical because it reduces the chromosome number from diploid to haploid. It's also where the magic of genetic exchange, known as crossing over, happens, ensuring each resulting cell is truly unique. This entire process is tightly regulated, with specific phases ensuring everything happens in the correct order. Delving deeper into meiosis I, its first stage, prophase I, is surprisingly complex and crucial. It's subdivided into 5 intricate phases: leptotene, zygotene, pachytene, diplotene, and dikinesis. During pachytene, homologous chromosomes physically exchange segments of DNA in a process called crossing over, leading to new combinations of genes. After prophase I, the homologous pairs align at the cell's center in metaphase I, then separate and move to opposite poles during anaphase I. Finally, in telophase I, the cell divides, yielding to haploid cells, each still containing duplicated chromosomes. A brief interphase-like period, called interkinesis, often follows, but without DNA replication. Following meiosis I, the 2 haploid cells quickly move into meiosis II, which is often termed the equational division because it resembles mitosis. In prophase II, chromosomes condense again. During metaphase II, individual chromosomes, each still made of 2 sister chromatids, align at the equatorial plate. Then, in anaphase II, these sister chromatids finally separate and move to opposite poles. Telophase II concludes the process, with nuclear envelopes reforming around the now separated chromatids, and cytokinesis results in a total of 4 genetically unique, haploid daughter cells from the original diploid parent cell. These cells are now ready to function as gametes. Alright, let's challenge your understanding of the meiotic stages. Here are 5 practice questions. Q1. During which stage of meiosis does crossing over occur? Q2. What event characterizes anaphase I? Q3. Is DNA replication part of enterokinesis? Q4. How many haploid cells are produced at the end of meiosis II? Q5. Which meiotic division is considered reductional? Excellent work. Now, let's elevate our understanding further. We'll compare meiosis to mitosis and explore its profound significance. Meiosis is not just a biological process, it's an evolutionary imperative. Its significance lies in 2 critical aspects. First, maintaining the species-specific chromosome number across generations. By reducing the chromosome count by half in gametes, meiosis ensures that when fertilization occurs, the zygote receives the correct diploid number. Second, and perhaps even more fascinating, is the generation of genetic variation. This variation, primarily driven by crossing over in prophase I and the independent assortment of homologous chromosomes in metaphase I, creates unique combinations of genes in every gamete. This genetic diversity is the raw material upon which natural selection acts, allowing populations to adapt and evolve, ensuring the long-term survival and resilience of species in ever-changing environments. To truly grasp meiosis, it's essential to compare its 2 divisions and contrast it with mitosis. Meiosis I is the reductional division where homologous chromosomes separate, leading to a halving of the chromosome number. It's characterized by synapses and crossing over. Meiosis II, on the other hand, is equational, much like mitosis, where sister chromatids separate, but it occurs in haploid cells. When we compare meiosis to mitosis, the differences are stark. Mitosis produces 2 identical diploid somatic cells for growth, while meiosis produces 4 genetically unique haploid gametes for reproduction. Mitosis has 1 division, no crossing over, and no homologous pairing, whereas meiosis has 2 divisions, extensive crossing over, and crucial homologous pairing in meiosis I. Errors in meiosis can have profound consequences, leading to genetic disorders. The most common error is non-disjunction, where chromosomes fail to separate properly during either meiosis I or meiosis II. This results in gametes with an abnormal number of chromosomes, a condition known as aneuploidy. A classic example is trisomy 21, or Down syndrome, where an individual has an extra copy of chromosome 21, typically due to non-disjunction during egg formation. Other examples include Klinefelter syndrome, XXY, and Turner syndrome, XO, which are sex chromosome aneuploidies. These errors underscore the vital importance of precise chromosome segregation during meiosis for healthy development and species viability. Let's deepen your analytical skills with these 7 questions. Q1. Explain how crossing over contributes to genetic variation. Q2. Differentiate between the events of anaphase I and anaphase II. Q3. How does independent assortment impact genetic diversity? Q4. Describe 2 key differences between mitosis and meiosis. Q5. What is non-disjunction and what is its consequence? Q6. Why is the reduction of chromosome number important in sexually reproducing organisms? Q7. If a diploid organism has 2n is equal to 10 chromosomes, how many possible combinations of chromosomes can be found in its gametes due to independent assortment? You've journeyed through the complexities of meiosis. Now, brace yourself for the hardest level, where we'll explore its evolutionary underpinnings, molecular intricacies, and broader biological impact. This is where competitive insights are forged. The evolutionary success of eukaryotes is intimately tied to sexual reproduction, a process fundamentally reliant on meiosis. Meiosis isn't just about shuffling genes, it's a powerful engine for adaptation. The genetic diversity generated through recombination and independent assortment provides the raw material for natural selection to act upon. In unpredictable environments, a population with diverse genotypes has a higher probability of containing individuals with advantageous traits, allowing the species to survive and evolve. Without meiosis, genetic variation would be limited to rare mutations, severely hindering a species' long-term adaptive capacity. This fundamental mechanism has shaped the diversity of life we see today, from the simplest eukaryotes to complex multicellular organisms. At the molecular level, genetic recombination during prophase I is a marvel of cellular engineering. It involves a precise series of DNA breakage and repair events, orchestrated by a complex array of proteins. The synaptonemal complex, a zipper-like protein structure, forms between homologous chromosomes, ensuring their tight pairing. Within this complex, recombination nodules mark the sites where crossing over will occur. Key enzymes like SPO11 initiate the process by creating double-strand breaks in DNA. Subsequently, various nucleases, helicases, DNA polymerase, and ligases work in concert to process these breaks and exchange segments between non-sister chromatids. The fidelity of this process is critical, as errors can lead to chromosomal rearrangements or aneuploidy, highlighting the intricate regulatory mechanisms in place to ensure accurate recombination. Meiosis is a tightly controlled process governed by cell cycle checkpoints and regulatory proteins. Cyclins and cyclin-dependent kinases, or CDKs, play central roles, similar to mitosis, but with specific meiotic variants. For instance, maturation-promoting factor, a complex of CDK1 and cyclin B, is crucial for both meiotic divisions in oocytes. Meiotic checkpoints, like the metaphase I and metaphase II checkpoints, are essential. They ensure that all homologous chromosomes or sister chromatids are correctly attached to the spindle fibers before anaphase begins, preventing non-disjunction. Failure of these checkpoints can lead to aneuploidy, a condition with an abnormal chromosome number, which is a major cause of developmental disorders. The specific timing and regulation of these events differ across organisms, particularly between animals and plants, due to their distinct life cycles. Animals typically exhibit a diplontic life cycle, where meiosis produces gametes directly. In contrast, plants have a haplodiplontic life cycle, involving an alternation of generations, where meiosis produces spores that develop into a multicellular haploid gametophyte, which then produces gametes via mitosis. Understanding these regulatory nuances is critical for advanced genetic studies. The implications of meiotic errors extend far beyond simple numerical changes in chromosomes. Non-disjunction can result in conditions like trisomy 21, Down syndrome, which is the most common autosomal aneuploidy. Beyond numerical changes, unequal crossing over can lead to structural chromosomal aberrations such as deletions or duplications of genetic material, causing a range of developmental issues. Furthermore, the study of meiosis is fundamental to reproductive technologies. Techniques like in vitro fertilization, or IVF, rely heavily on understanding oocyte maturation, a process involving meiosis. Preimplantation genetic diagnosis, or PGD, allows for the screening of embryos for meiotic errors like aneuploidies before implantation, significantly improving the success rates of ART and reducing the incidence of certain genetic disorders. The profound impact of meiosis on human health and evolution makes it a continuous area of intense biological and medical research. Test your competitive edge with these first 5 challenging questions. Q1. Discuss the evolutionary rationale behind the persistence of sexual reproduction despite its energetic costs compared to asexual reproduction. Q2. Detail the molecular events and key proteins involved in the formation of the synaptonemal complex and subsequent crossing over during prophase I. Q3. Explain the role of maturation-promoting factor, MPF, in regulating meiotic progression in oocytes. Q4. Compare and contrast the outcomes of gametic, sporic, and zygotic meiosis in different life cycles. Q5. How does defective DNA repair machinery impact the frequency and consequences of meiotic recombination errors? Continue to push your boundaries with the next 5 advanced questions. Q6. Describe how non-disjunction at meiosis I differs from non-disjunction at meiosis II in terms of the resulting gamete genotypes and their implications for aneuploidy. Q7. Propose a scenario where a specific meiotic checkpoint failure could lead to polyploidy rather than aneuploidy. Q8. Discuss the significance of chiasmata in ensuring proper segregation of homologous chromosomes during anaphase I. Q9. How can advanced cytogenetic techniques like FISH be used to detect specific meiotic errors in clinical diagnostics? Q10. Elaborate on how understanding meiotic regulation has contributed to advancements in assisted reproductive technologies. And that concludes our in-depth exploration of meiosis, from its basic principles to its most complex molecular and evolutionary implications. We've covered everything from the two divisions and genetic variation to the critical role of checkpoints and the consequences of errors. Remember, mastering this topic is crucial for your NEET success. For more comprehensive learning resources, interactive lessons, and practice questions, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more engaging educational content. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep aiming for excellence. See you in the next session.